Resilience. The ability to readily recover from illness or depression or adversity. Resilience, being able to withstand setbacks, broken hearts and broken dreams, financial crisis, loss of loved ones, loss of enterprise, and loss of health. How would you ever handle it if you lost everything you had today? How long would you be depressed and upset and angry? What would it take for you to pull yourself up and start all over again?
And that's what we have, wherever we are, with whatever hand that life has dealt us. We have the freedom of spirit. We can go through life whining and weeping, or we can have the kind of spirit that people will say, hey, there's a blessing to be around that person. I'm reminded of a young guy who was on a bus, a little young fellow, and some kids were picking at him, some bigger guys, and they kept on thumping him on the head and hiding their hands. And so he got tired of them doing that, and he stood up so he would not be around them, out of their reach. And they took him and said, sit down, and set him down. And he stood back up. He said, I don't want to sit down. They said, sit down. Then we changed and pushed him back down. He said, I don't want to sit down. They said, sit down, and they held him down. And he looked at him, he said, you might hold me down, but I'm standing up inside myself. And what we have got to do is know that there's something about you, there's something about us, there's a power in you that regardless of what happens to you, you can stand up inside of yourself. I think that's what the poet meant when he says, out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods there may be for my unconquerable soul. You have an unconquerable soul. I say to you that there is a Nelson Mandela in you, that kind of commitment, that kind of spirit, that kind of personal power, that kind of vision of allowing yourself to be used by life is in you, that all of us came here to do something, to make a difference. And in a historical context, the world will never be the same again because you came this way.
You have trouble being resilient because you think everything works like laptops, like computers, that if you rub it, it'll click for you, it'll move for you, it'll open for you. And you try thing after thing after thing. I tried that and it didn't work, and I tried that and it didn't work, I tried that and it didn't work. Because you think that trying something for a little while ought to bring you a big return. But life does not work like Apple. Some stuff takes time. Greatness takes time. It takes time. It takes time to build your brand. It takes time to build your life. It takes time to build your career. You got to be prepared to get 1,000 no's to get 1 yes. Life does not click and it appears. Be resilient. Stick it out. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Resilient.
How resilient are you? Could you handle it? Could you learn from all your disappointments and start all over again? What would it take? Well, number one, it would take a lot of self-discipline. It would take a lot of positive self-talk to muster up the energy to begin again. It would take a lot of concentration to block out the noise and the clutter of all the negative voices trying to get through. It would take a lot of discipline to balance the fear and anxiety with the knowing that if you did it once, you can do it all over again. It would also take what? A lot of self-reliance, whether your losses had anything to do with you or not. Your future success has everything to do with you. It would take a lot of self-reliance to avoid blame. What's happened has happened. You would need to get on with your life and begin again. It would take a lot of faith. It would take a lot of faith and trust in God to move ahead. If you lost everything tomorrow and were gathering all the courage to try again, it would take a lot of self-appreciation, knowing that you have the skills and the talent and the strength to do it one more time.